All right, tonight I'm gonna make some steak fajitas, and it's a very inexpensive dish, very easy to make. I'll time it here and see how long it actually takes me. I'm gonna forego you having to see me slice up my little steaks here, but you can see I got a cheap steak, half off, $5 for pretty good, decent little steak. I always cut it with my kitchen scissors. Tomatoes will come into play later. The Granger County tomatoes are on the bottom. Our produce store where we get our Granger County tomatoes was closed due to the blizzard, so I had to resort to getting some Walmart tomatoes on the vine. So we'll probably use those. Other ingredients necessary. Of course, we got salt and my Walmart. I should be a commercial for Walmart. My Walmart powdered garlic. This is from Sam's, big Bertolli olive oil, which you can see we're getting close to the bottom, almost time to take a run back to Sam's. The only reason I would have bought Kraft cheddar cheese is because it was on sale. This was probably $4. That's what a pound usually costs of shredded cheese. And this is the secret ingredient. I use this in everything. The Walmart Great Value Pepper and Onion Blend. It is about $2.60. Excuse me. And then ordinarily, when I make fajitos or any kind of Mexican, Latin dish, we ate it over nachos, or we make burritos or tacos out of it. But we're on low carbs, and it's working because I'm down about 6 pounds since Christmas, or since New Year's. But we use these low carb wraps, and they're about, I think it's about $3 for a big old thing of them. That's about half of what is usually in the bag. And I kind of fry those up into little tostitas. And then the McCormick taco seasoning, which I think that's like $7 or $8, and it lasts forever. We use 1/3 of a cup at a time. So this is the key elements to this fajita dish. We have a favorite Mexican restaurant, and Lynn always gets fajitas. I think it's like $12, $14 for a pretty good serving. She can't finish it, but I can cook it at home better and less expensive. And as you can see, this meal is going to cost us $5. Probably use half of that, so 2 is 7. Then the peppers and onions were up to 10. We'll probably use 4 of those. Let's say $1 just around it. So this is about, including the tomatoes and the spices and the oil, I'd say this is about a $12 meal for 2 people. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, and it's going to be way better than you'd get at a restaurant. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off here for a second. I'm going to forego you having to watch me cut my steaks up, and I'll return here when they're in the pan sizzling. All right, I just thought I'd show you just a little bit of the slicing so you have proof that I actually did it myself. Working from home today, so I went ahead and clocked out, and Lynn is on her way home from work, and I'm gonna have supper almost ready for her when she gets here. I forgot to mention that the steaks came from what used to be IGA, is now called Priceless. And I don't know where you're watching this from. In Northeast Tennessee, all of the IGAs became called Priceless. And I think I've told you this before if you've seen these videos. It's a very strange business model. They mark everything 10% lower than it actually is. The gimmick being, when you come to the store, what you see on the price tag is what the store pays for it, and when you get to the cash register, everything's 10% higher, which is, for overhead, which is basically just a gimmick to trick us into thinking we're paying less than we really are. But still, that's the place to go for the best meat deals. Occasionally Kroger, but usually Priceless. And Walmart, for all the stuff I get from Walmart, the frozen goods, the canned goods, and you can see I'm leaving this little piece of fat here. That's for Maggie. So here's the one from the other one. I'll fry that up with the rest of it, and then I'll take it out and give it to Maggie. Maggie, you might hear her crunching in the background, by the way. She's eating her supper. But anyways, Walmart is really the best place to get your canned goods, your frozen food, and other things, household items. But their meat is higher than everybody else. And then you go to Priceless, and their canned goods and their frozen goods are higher than everybody else, but their meat is cheaper. And then Kroger is higher than everybody on everything, but they have more sales. So you have to kind of split up. And Food City, which that's, if you're not from this area, Food City is a kind of a local chain, and they're more expensive on everything. when they have a sale, that's how much it should cost regularly. Okay, so I've got it simmering here. I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff fired up. I've got it turned on to high. Let's throw, go ahead and, I need to wash my hands. Go ahead and throw some garlic. You can see I'm not shy about the garlic. I already put a little dash of olive oil in there. Just put a little salt. Get that started. And now, so while the meat is cooking, I've got it on high. It doesn't seem to be, it's taking its own sweet time. I don't have to use a lot of oil because I think these companies are injecting their meat with water. They seem to make a lot more water than they used to. So it'll make its own water and its own grease. Just a little bit of oil to get it started. So what I like to do is cook the, let's see if that fits, yep. Cook the meat and the green peppers and onions separately. It just doesn't seem to work out as well if I cook them together. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the green peppers and onions started. You see I pop that lid on the meat, but that's just to get it out of my way. The lid is actually for the green peppers and onions, and it'll make about a third when the water boils down. And that water is useful. The water that comes out of these while they're cooking, that's the water that keeps the gets the taco seasoning wet. Because you know, whenever if you cooked with taco seasoning, it always says put X amount of water in with X amount of powder. But I don't put water in. I use the water that the food makes. All right, so we are off and running. Okay, got a little spatula. I'm gonna cook this stuff on pretty high to start with, because let's go ahead and get it cooking good, and then we'll turn it down. And by no means am I a master chef. Don't claim to be one. A little backstory. I just basically had to teach myself how to cook. Growing up, my mom and dad both worked, and my mom went to night school. My dad worked 2 jobs quite a bit, so it was incumbent upon me to learn how to cook if you wanted to eat. So I learned how to cook, and was not very good at it, but over the years I've been able to come up with a few specialties, and steak fajitas, chicken fajitas, pork fajitas, all the same recipe, just the only variable is the meat. Look at all that water that's made. But over the years I've had a few specialties. You've seen my omelets. Ordinarily when I make this, if we were not on low carbs, I would be making some refried black beans to go with it. So like I said, ordinarily on this meal we would also have refried black beans, which is easy. You just open a can and water it down to the consistency you want it. But since we're going low carb, the beans have been excised from the menu. And now it's just the meat, the veg, the cheese, and the low carb wraps. You see, we took a little bit of the water off, so I'm going to throw some more olive oil in there. I forgot to turn the dang peppers and onions on, so they're going. But more on my backstory. I got a job as my first job when I was 16 was at Taco Bell, which, you know, you're not going to learn how to be a great cook there, but later I got a job closer to home at a place called the Silver Dollar Cafe, which was a kind of a southern style greasy spoon, and I learned quite a bit there. But really, I would say most of my cooking knowledge is just trial and error. All right, this is going to turn down, let it simmer for a little bit. All right, I'm going to come back to you when I'm ready to move to the next step. And one thing that I learned from my years as a short order cook is there's always something to be doing while you're waiting for something else to be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these tomatoes up. Like I said, these are the Walmart on the vine tomatoes, which they're only like $1.99 a pound. And in lieu of the Granger County tomatoes, this is the best we can do. So I'm slicing these as I don't think you can see it from your viewpoint, but I'm gonna make these, we like to throw a little fresh tomato on our fajitas at the end. It's getting kind of hot in here. Yeah, like I said, the Silver Dollar Cafe was, it was like 17, 18. And aside from being the dishwasher, I was the Friday night prep cook, just getting everything ready for the weekend. And it was a pretty good experience. That was the end of my experience in the culinary industry, though. After that, it was a lot of construction, and then after college, I'm in the newspaper business. I'm a newspaper editor. That's my day job. And these tomatoes look pretty good. I don't know where they get these fresh tomatoes in January. Probably down in Mexico. But it is a blessing to have fresh tomatoes in January. All right, those are done. And let's check and see what we got here. Those are ready to go. Two fairly small on the vine tomatoes. So this is looking pretty good. All right, I think that's ready to merge. It's made quite a bit of water. So this is the moment of truth right here. I want to make sure you can see this on camera. I love this part. Oh! And stir it all up. Look at all that water. That's good old vegetable water. That's got flavor in it. All right, now as I always say, the secret ingredient is garlic. So I always put a little bit more garlic in. I haven't really salted it yet. And I'm a big proponent of salt to taste, under salt, and let your diners, if they need more salt, then they can do it themselves. But you do have to have a little bit in there. All right, and now one of the key elements. It really isn't fajitas without this. All right, that's 1/3 of a cup of McCormick powder. Give or take. And that might be a little much, but we like it to have a lot of flavor. All right, so I'll water it down just a little bit more. And we'll let this simmer for a little bit. And you want it to thicken. The powder makes it thicken up into like a sauce. And actually, I'm gonna cover it because I wanna make sure that the powder is completely diluted and that it reaches all points, all areas, and is absorbed into every morsel of food. So I'll come back here in just a second. Okay, it's time to do the fajitas. And like I said, one of my secret ingredients for my fajitas is real butter. So the olive oil gets a vacation on this one. We have some real butter left over. Lynn uses it at Thanksgiving. Now it's January. So we've had it in the freezer. It's fine. And I got it out. I made some, what did I make with it? I used it for something. Oh, I might have used it for some stir-fried vegetables or something. Just, you know, we have cut so much stuff out of our diet carb-wise, but you're allowed to have butter. So, guilty pleasures. All right, so I'm probably gonna make, well, I'll probably make all of these, but you want to do about 2 at a time. Well, we can do 3 at a time. And you can see this stuff is going really good. In fact, it's just about done. Look at that. That's money in the bank right there. Look at that. Holy cow. Yummy, yum, yum. All right, let me put the lid back on and turn it off. It's actually, it's at the point of perfection as we speak. All modesty aside. So we'll get these flowers cooked up. I need a little plate to put them in. Am I done with my knife yet? We have a very low amount of counter space. We tend to pile stuff up. I like tongs for the burritos. And this is oh, there's some leftover onion, bonus onion. This is more like a tostada type thing. It's just kind of like as a garnish to go on the side. You can make a little mini taco or mini burrito or whatever. But it's nice to have a little something solid. You can't go completely bread free or nacho free. I like to make this stuff and put it over nachos with melted cheese. And then you put a little dollop of sour cream on top of that. And then put your tomatoes on top of that. But we want to get these guys a nice little crust. I turned it down, and I shouldn't have done that. I like to have them a little crispy. It's a catch-22. You got to get them hot, get this pan hot to make these things, but then it gets too hot. You got to turn it down. You've got to constantly monitor the heat. One bad thing about these things, they kind of puff up sometimes. But the butter alone gives them enough flavor. You don't need to add any seasoning or anything to these. Oh, there we go. Now it's getting there. All right, another round of tostadas. Just put some butter in there. I think 3 apiece ought to be more than enough. And now we prepare for the plating, which is the payoff. All right, I'm going to show you what this looks like before I plate it. Now look at that. That is some serious fajita action right there. And the total cost for this estimated $12. That's 4 pretty good servings for $4 or $12, or basically $3 a serving. If you went to the Mexican restaurant and got this, it would be 10, 12 bucks a person, and it wouldn't be as good. So let's go ahead and get this stuff plated. Like I said, ordinarily we would have nachos, but we're going low carb. And so then you want the cheese. Oh, I didn't open my cheese. Put the cheese on it when it's super hot, and then it melts. One-handed cheese grabbing, not the easiest thing in the world. All right, Lynn is a sour cream person, and we're down to the bare minimum sour cream, so she gets that. Isn't it nice of me to make her plate for her? So there's that, and then tomatoes on top of that. And of course, if we're down south, so we got to put a little salt on our tomatoes, just a dash. And 2 tostadas to start with. We didn't do dishes, so all we got is spoons. She gets her sour cream spoon. And there you go. Look at that. $3. Well worth it. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off. I'm gonna give Lynn her plate she got here a few minutes ago. She's been waiting anxiously for me to finish this and finish this stupid video. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off and eat. We'll see you next time.